it's Monday morning. You get a text or a phone call. Hey, do you know that we have this tankless water heater training on Thursday? You got any guys you want to send to it? What, are you kidding me? Of course I do, but
Yeah.
can we?
Yep.
Do you have anything coming up 2 months from now?
Yep.
All right, here we go, dude. We are on the air. How you doing, man?
Not too bad.
All right,
Just
all right.
cranking
Good
through.
day. We got some emails in for the MTGA podcast. Thanks for sending those in. And today we're going to answer one of them. Andy, give us a summation.
Yep.
What are we going to talk about?
So we got email in from Mark Danforth, and this email came about a month and a half ago. So
Oh, wow.
sorry, Mark. This happened right as we were kind of trying to regroup and wind down. And anyway,
Yeah.
it didn't get addressed. So we're on it today. Anyway, so Mark has recently moved into an outside sales position for Ferguson over in Washington, and he wanted to basically chat about, or wanted to know our opinion of what makes a good outside salesman. You know, what kind of things can an outside sales guy do to make you go, hey, Mark, I need this, or Mark's my go-to guy. What kind of things can an outside sales guy do to get that sale from you? Or not necessarily the sale, but that relationship.
Right. There's a lot of things. I mean, it's not an easy job, first of all. There's no
Right.
way that's an easy job. I always think about that. I'm trying to remind myself when I'm like frustrated with a transaction that I am absolutely not the only person that person is dealing with that day, and probably not the easiest person to deal with. That's a tough one, man. What are some of the things that make a good relationship for us out in the field? I'm a small company. I'm only worried about me, right?
Right.
You got to worry about other people. You got multiple jobs you're trying to work on at any given time, looking forward, looking backwards, looking at today. You and I have this conversation a lot. Not because of this email from Mark, but like, I just want to know that you're giving me the honest price. Like I shouldn't expect to have to monitor my pricing every
Right.
time you give me a quote. Like sometimes I know the price. I'm not worried. Like I don't know. I'm not going to worry about the cost of copper unless I'm buying 10,000 feet of it. Right.
Right.
Like the prices you're going to give me are going to be what you're charging that day, at that point
Yeah.
in time. But if I'm looking for a quote on maybe a boiler model that I'm not buying on a regular basis, I would hope that is a, accurate pricing.
Yeah.
I can send that to my customer with my, within my price structure, and expect that when I go to order that thing a week or two from now, because I got the go ahead, that I can rely on the quote you gave me, that kind of thing.
Right. I think I totally agree. I think you said, you want your honest price. And I think what I know of our conversations is that I think what you want is consistent pricing.
Yeah. That's my biggest thing.
That's,
Don't charge me one thing today for item
Right.
A and then charge me something 2 months from now, totally different
Or
for the same
tomorrow.
item. Yeah. Or tomorrow. Yeah.
Right.
Like I get price increases happen. I'm not oblivious to that. That's not what I'm acknowledging that. It's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There are certain things that companies do when it comes to like, they don't like lock you in on pricing, or they reset
Right.
your pricing based off of your volume, things like that. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like
No,
doing
I'm not
businesses with companies that do that. So I want just that consistent pricing. You're right. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
You know what? I really think that I'm lucky in the sense that I have a couple sales people that I work with. They happen to be sales guys, that I can reach out to on the fly via text message and send them a quick, like, hey, I need this. Can you order it and have it delivered, next Wednesday?
Yeah.
And I know I'll first acknowledge that's going to make some people cringe, ordering materials over text messages. You and I have actually talked about that in the past,
Right.
but I'm talking about simple things. Like I'm not going to have to reference where I ordered, a water heater from 6 months from now or a year from now. It's just not, I can tell you with experience, that's not something I'm going to have to worry about. I'm going to have paperwork trail and everything on billing side of stuff. I'm not going to have to worry about like, who did I order that from? I know who I ordered that from. So ordering a text is not going to bother me any.
Yep.
But I'm not usually ordering stuff like that. It's not usually like, I'm not going with a $10,000 press fitting stock order through a text message. That's ridiculous, right? So that's an email and a phone call and all the above. So there's, paper trails and accuracy comes into play. But
one of the things that I guess I want in that relationship is that same thing is that if we agree that, hey, this is what I need, do your end of it, right?
Yeah.
Follow up on it. And I know that people get busy and things don't go the same way that you had hoped, but just follow through with it. If hey, we're going to get that, get it on the truck,
Yeah. I should clarify when I bring up the text messaging thing too. I think maybe I spoke too soon. I should say, like, look, I've probably already, my text message my ordering that I'm talking about might be like, hey, John, can you send me a quote for such via text message, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
So then in my email comes this paper
quote.
Trail and this process, the starting of the process of ordering some materials.
Yeah.
I say that I find high value in that transaction, that initial conversation, the willingness for them to go out of their way, because I know it's going out of their way, to take that text message from me and act on it and reliably. Look, that is just, it's often, I'm not trying to take advantage of them. It's just really helpful for me on the fly while I'm going out to my van to grab a tool and go, oh, that's right, I got to get pricing on that for a customer that I was just at, right? Like I just need, I'm trying to stay ahead of the game there.
Yes.
Just having that as an opportunity can be huge. And that maybe isn't even the details Mark was looking for, but like things like that really go a long way for me wanting to do business with somebody because they're meeting me where I'm at.
I definitely agree with that. The thing that I guess run into on the pricing side of things is not having, like, I don't like calling my sales rep and being like, hey, what's the price on this one thing? Right. Because a lot of times when I'm building a quote, I'm hung up on one thing. Right. And I'm going to start doing it more. And that is, here's my list of my everyday, let's use Viessmann parts, for instance.
Sure.
Here's my Viessmann components. Can you just monthly send me, just put it in a tickler file, update this pricing, and send it to me once a month, beginning of the month.
File?
Like a reminder file.
Oh.
A tickler file was like the file that in the office, that's your very front file. So when you go into your file cabinet, that's the file that you go, oh, I need to do these things, right? And
interesting.
You don't know.
Tickling those files.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically just your
I gotcha.
Pre Apple reminder.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, do this.
Yeah. Pricing, honest, like, look, they don't have a lot of control over that, right? They have some, depending on the company they work for and whatnot.
Yeah.
I want my salesperson to make money off me. Like,
oh, absolutely.
More money they make off me, the more they want to do business with me. But in a sense that we're both making, I need to be able to make money too, and they should understand that. They do. They don't get into that position without knowing it.
Yep. I think that's probably one of my biggest ones. I think the next thing that I find as a benefit that my sales guys offer is letting me know when there's local training.
Absolutely.
And the local training thing is a critical one. I really do like going to those. I don't mind there being a little bit of a sales pitch involved.
Well, there oftentimes are. It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
I don't need a day-long sales pitch.
No, but I need to have twofold. I need to be somebody needs to try and sell something to me. And then you need to teach me how to work on this product or how to properly install it or, or give me some background, some sort of a nugget of takeaway that's of value.
Yeah.
Having just a sales pitch has a very low value in my mind, because I took that away and I
to buy or save money.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. But here's my pet peeve on sales or on trainings. Let me know in advance.
Yeah.
Like it can't be next week. And I know that some of these get planned on short notice. I need a month.
No, most of these, here's my take on it. They don't get planned on short notice. They get
announced.
Nobody's signed up for this. Hey, tell our sales team coming down from the office above, tell our sales team that John Barb is coming into town next week and nobody's signed up for the course. So we better get the word out. Next week? What?
Right.
Are you kidding me? Or how about the, hey, it's Monday morning. You get a text or a phone call. Hey, do you know that we have this tankless water heater training on Thursday? You got any guys you want to send to it? Well, are you kidding me? Of course I do, but can we? Do you have anything coming up 2 months from now?
Yep.
So we can plan around it. Yeah, stuff like that. Training is huge. Look, I'm not going to sign up for every one of the trainings, but if I don't know they exist, I can't. I'm not out there searching for them most of the time. It's just, I would, years ago, I was way better at it. Admittedly, I'm not as good as anymore, these days on knowing what's available to me, knowing when it's happening, signing up and attending it for when it comes to training. I think I'm not unlike pretty much everyone else. Like, honestly, it's not top on my list of things to do. Yeah. Although I realize the benefit from it. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just, it's logistics. And our salespeople could really help us out a lot if they could maybe, how about once a month? Give us a rundown. Send us an email. Send a bulk email out to all of your customers saying, here's what I know is happening this next month or something,
Right. Yep.
Or here's what I got on file right now. And maybe it's something coming up in 3 months from now. God, I would love to know something's coming up in 3 months from now. I might actually sign up for it today.
Yeah. Well, and things like that could be in a sales or a newsletter like that. I know that people's inboxes get inundated with newsletters and things like that. But things that I guess I would find beneficial is industry price changes.
Okay.
May 1, right? We're in April. It's May 1. We're going to see, Odie, whatever is going to go up, or Charlotte pipe PVC fittings are going to go up, or whatever. I mean, all I need to know is that I don't need to know the price necessarily. I need to know that, hey, I'm bidding a job that's got a whole bunch of PVC on it. I need to account for that.
Yeah.
I need to call the customer that I'm selling this job to and be like, listen, you need to order this by this date so that I can order by this date in order to secure this pricing. Otherwise it's going to be 8% more.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. And that, those kinds of things are helpful. And a lot of times if we're at the counter, that's when I'll find some of that information out is, the counter guy will be like, oh, hey, by the way, this, we got a price increase coming. And I'm okay, great. I mean, not great, but okay. Thank you for letting me know. I know that they don't have any control over it. Outside sales guys certainly don't have any control over manufacturer's price increase.
No, but they do get the notification, and if they can relay that, it can be super helpful. Yep. Somebody organized enough to do that kind of monthly summation would be like the ideal salesperson, right? And right. Here's why I say that. A lot of salespeople would hear me, hear us talking about this and be like, yeah, well, I'm trying to do that, but nobody seems to pay attention. Well, I'll tell you what, if you did it and it was reliable and it was like timely, like on a regular basis, I certainly would pay attention.
Yeah.
Like if you sent me an email every month saying, here's like that newsletter idea, like you're saying, here's what's going on. God, I would seriously be looking at like, I love this dude keeping me in the loop. I've made decisions based off of his input. That would be huge for me. So, but that's an organized, it's tough. Again, I go back to organization. Look, it's a hard job. I'm not expecting that, but if you did that, I mean, that question was posed, right? So I'm giving you my answer. Yeah. The other thing for me, I'll be honest with you. I have a couple I really have just like a couple people that I do business with on a regular basis. One for a long time, John Kelly at Good and Company. I love the guy. I think he's just fantastic. I don't even know if he listens to this podcast. I hope he does so he can hear me say how much I think John's a great guy.
Right.
Young guy, go-getter, like really smart, hardworking. Has been working for the company for a long time. And I guess he's not so young anymore because we're all getting a little bit older. Right? But he's a couple years younger than me. And but he has always been super reliable in so many ways, one of which I found to be very important to me is if let's say I ordered 10 SKUs, right? Let's say I ordered 10 things on an order. And if one of them isn't going to be available to me, he is like, it's funny, Johnny on the spot. His name's John. No, he is like sure to tell me ASAP, hey, Eric, this is not going to show up with your order. Is there something else we should do? How do you want to handle this? Right. And he knows that it affects people, everybody, no matter how big or small the customer is if that's probably going to be the one thing that's going to hold up a job or could possibly, right? And so he knows that and he tells me, and oftentimes, what the result is me canceling that one item on the order.
Yeah.
And finding it somewhere else.
Figuring it out. But just let me know. Yep.
Just let me know. The value in that is so tremendously high and is what wants me to continue to work with somebody. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be told like all this thing that we normally have isn't going to be available with the rest of it at the same time. Like they don't want to tell you this. We're all adults here. All of it sucks for everybody. But if you don't tell me and then you show up and I don't have the one thing.
And it's go time.
Yeah. It might literally mean I can't do the job.
Yep.
And if you just told me, I would have figured it out. Right.
Yep.
And, so like that, just accuracy, order accuracy, timing, like update, like nobody needs to hold my hand here, but like literally if you're putting an order in and you see that it's going to be back ordered one item, like tell me, just tell me that thing. That can be huge. I know these people aren't on top of it all the time. They're not even seeing all my orders, but if I run an order through John, for example, he's going to know that. He pays attention to that, and then he's going to tell me, and that's huge.
Yeah, he's going to shoot you a text or an email and say, "Hey, FYI, I've got line items 1 through 8 are in stock. 8 and 9 or 9 and 9, 10 and 11 are we got an issue.
Yeah, we got to cart them across town. It's going to be an extra day or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I can't have this for you tomorrow.
That is so incredibly important. Yet I know it's asking a lot. Don't get me wrong. I acknowledge that. It can make or break a relationship, to be honest with you, in the end. Because it's those transactions when they don't go your way and you weren't notified. And again, I acknowledge I can't notify you of everything, but if it just happens over and over, it's what sours you. It's like, I don't like doing business with this company. I'm always getting 0 line items with back orders, and I can't handle that.
Right. I think one of the things that, and I don't want this episode to sound like, oh, these are the things that sales guys do wrong.
Oh yeah, no, exactly.
But one of the things that drives me nuts, and this isn't a sales guy thing. I think it's a PA thing, a purchasing agent thing, is adding parts that I have ordered to a stock order. If
you're looking for something, but they're adding it to their stock order,
plop it on their stock order to build minimum or whatever. So that they can get their stock order in. If that is not going to add time to my order, fine.
Right.
If it's going to add time to my order, I 100% absolutely have to know.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the same thing with what I'm talking. It's akin to what I'm talking about, basically. Yeah.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That would be so frustrating.
Some of those are like, hey, bring me one of these in. Okay, it should take 2 weeks to come from Webstone, whatever. I don't know. I'm just going to throw Webstone out there. I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But let's say I'm ordering this particular press pro ball drain.
Yeah.
From Webstone or whatever, and
it's a stock
I know that
item.
It should take 2 weeks to get it from the factory, and then it gets put on a corporate stock order that ends up 2 states away,
and it's sitting till the truck is
for
full.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep. And
No.
it's, we put that on the stock order, and the stock order is going to be fulfilled in the next 6 weeks, and and then it's going to ship.
My
And
gosh. That is not even
it's
an
like,
option.
right. I'd rather pay the freight in almost every scenario, but give me that option. I mean, those are things.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, you're not like, if I'm ordering, let's say I ordered 100 water heaters at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. Totally understand that we're discussing freight charges, stock orders, discounts based off of volume. And I understand that you're not going to, if I order it on a Monday, you're not delivering Tuesday, 100 water heaters. Right. So yeah. Different scenario. If I order a case of ball valves, meaning like a box, a dozen of them, do not put that on a stock order. That is stock already. I expected it to show up today. Right. Yeah. No, I don't think we're off base there. And we're not talking big volume. Like, look, there's a lot of people that listen that probably work for companies that do order trailer loads of materials. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking the daily jobber style ordering process.
Service company stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And it's so incredibly important to have that communication clear, put it that way.
Right.
At least it is to you and me. We think we're the most important people in our daily lives, right?
I don't care what the other guys got.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. But if you don't tell me something's not going to show up, I can't make the decision. Sometimes it's a scheduling thing. Oftentimes it might require scheduling change.
So I think some of the things that I appreciate from my top sales guys is a text message or a phone call that, hey, such and such rep is going to be here in town. Can we stop by a job site for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Can we, and a lot of those are, hey, what are you working on? Do you got any questions? I have my go-to manufacturers. I take an immediate approach of not to bypass my sales guy, but my sales guy is not my tech support guy, right? My sales guy is the guy that I go to, that I need the parts. I need the material itself.
Yeah.
I don't want to bog him down or her in the, hey, I have a problem with this piece of equipment you sold. That's not your problem.
No, they might be able to point you in the right direction. Oftentimes I'll ask the sales guy, who's the rep for this?
Who's the rep? Right. And then we bypass.
Yeah.
And so I always want to make a connection with manufacturer's rep for the products that I use. And I want to know the guy that's intimately familiar with this thing, right? Because a lot of times my sales guy, he doesn't know what the inside of a Viessmann boiler looks like.
No,
he doesn't have any concept of how to size, how to properly size a circulator.
Yeah, no,
that's not his job.
It's exactly.
It's
so important to acknowledge that too from our end. Right. It's not their job. It's not their job.
And so I appreciate that. Hey, I want to introduce you. This is the new rep for Resideo. Hey, perfect. I actually have a Resideo question or a Resideo job that's coming up that maybe this guy knows something. And a lot of that face-to-face meeting allows me to basically interview that person and find out what level of knowledge that person possesses. Because in a lot of cases, if it's the new guy, well, might know how to look on a website.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not up to speed on their training.
It's usually no time and skin off your back. Like, it usually doesn't take it. It's not very disruptive.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with a lot of times I get those calls and I'm like, oh, I'm not sure where I'm going to be, or thanks for the heads up. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I don't mind being told though.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't know, I don't know.
But if it works.
Yeah.
If it works out.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't long ago. I had the Stable Eltron guys came into town, popped over with a rep from, I think they were out of Bozeman. Anyway, they popped in and we chit-chatted about air-to-water heat pumps.
I was going to say,
and I'm like, there you are.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to know who the rep is here, by the way.
Right.
Which salesperson I need to talk to learn more. I've been wanting to learn more about that product line, to be honest with you, because of their hydronic system, their heat pump.
Yeah.
Air to water.
Yeah, they got some cool stuff.
Yeah, so there's a lot to do. I mean, look, if there's some kind of tickets you're going to put out there to your customers for a hockey game, or, that's all awesome. It doesn't go unnoticed. Don't get me wrong, but it's not why on a personal level, it's not why I'm buying. It's not why I'm calling. I am lucky, I think, to have like the Gooden Company here in Minnesota. Like they're like your Keller, like they're just a solid supply company. Johnstone of the Bloomington Group, like or whatever they're called now, Heartland. I don't know what they're called now. Like I have a couple contacts there that I deal with on a regular basis that are checking the boxes of just a few things we brought up today that have made all the difference in the world and have earned my business, however little that is. On the
but they
grand
swayed
scale.
And no, because you and I have been having this conversation or having conversations about the challenges you had with your previous supplier.
Yeah.
That relationship going to the Bloomington Group and the Johnstone was not something you did before. Like, I don't know that you bought much of anything from that wholesaler.
No, it's 100% because of the people that have that have serviced the new account I created with them. I do business with them because it seems like they're a good company overall. They've got the resources.
Right.
And primarily like 99% has been because the people I've dealt with have delivered. Like that's
a huge part.
Huge.
Yep.
And I'm a small
and I can
company,
vouch for that because they delivered for me when I couldn't get here. I mean, that's, you know what? That says something. Hey, we're in the business of supplying goods. We're here to supply, and they came right through, and I was in a pinch, and
well, it's companies like ours, these smaller service companies. We are so much more confident when we have that support. We are so much more successful when we have that support.
Oh yeah.
So to the email, it was Mark, right?
Yep.
To Mark listening, like, look, I know he's in commercial and everything, but like, seriously, you help us become successful. Your job is important. We acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And, it just, our loyalties are oftentimes companies like ours, people like you and I, we're not very much different, but it's pretty simple. I don't think we're demanding a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like you said, or what was it, off air you said, and I thought it was perfect. We'll end with this. When it came to pricing, I brought up pricing you and I before we hit record, and you're like, look, I don't need a one night stand price quote. Like, I don't need you to give me like the world's best deal here. Although nobody's going to,
I'm not going to complain about it, but
I want that, it came back to that consistency. Like you had pointed out what I'm looking for. I don't need that one night stand quote. I need it to be reliable.
Right.
And I need to be able to duplicate that until we're told by the powers that be that there's an increase, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right on, brother. That was a cool topic. It's something we deal about, you and I, when we talk about this typically, and it's what you were trying to shy away from, is when we have complaints.
Yeah. Yeah.
No doubt. We're not going to talk about how great our sales people are all the time. But it seems to come up in our conversations a lot. Well, you and I talk about this stuff on a personal level all the time. We're lucky to have the ability to bounce ideas and vent, I guess. Right on, brother.
Yeah.
You good?
Right. Yep. I think we're good.
Thanks for writing in, Mark. Appreciate it. Anybody else want to send us messages, please do. I brought up the last time. Give us a rating in your podcast app. We'd really appreciate it. And Andy, you had made a request recently. What are people listening to?
Yeah.
You want to hear about what people are listening? We talked about it in an episode recently.
We did.
We want to know what you're listening to. Music, podcasts, you name it. Share your playlist with us. I want to see what
you go.
I want to see what people's playlists are. That could be fun.
I started listening to an audiobook recently, and I'm kind of got hooked in it. I don't know. It was Spotify marketing at its finest. Put this in front of you. Here.
Who am I talking to?
I know. It's weird.
Oh my God. What
freaking weird.
Audiobooks.
Weirdo.
Bougie. See ya.